Hello and welcome to this little Spalluccipedia video. Today I want to have a little chat about one of the sort of like very popular side characters from Sam's world, and that is Justice the vampire. Now Justice first makes his appearance in a little short story called High Moon. Although if you just read High Moon you wouldn't actually know it's Justice because he's not named. And that's because when I was writing that story, I was in the middle of writing the casebook Sam Spallucci, and I wanted a little bit of a break. So I thought, no, what the hell? I'll write a little vampire story and see what happens. Now, I've always been a big fan of the Sergei Leone Wild West spaghetti western movies, and especially the Lee Van Cleef sort of take on his characters. You had Angel Eyes, and you had Colonel Mortimer, and Colonel Mortimer was in A Few Dollars More, very sort of like world-wise. He was almost like the Qui-Gon to Clint Eastwood's Obi-Wan, if you want a little bit of a Star Wars reference there, which is a little bit off ball, but you know. And I was sort of thinking of that character when I really wrote Justice, who was quiet, hardly spoke, and just came in and got the job done. So in High Moon, we have him walk into the town of Salem, wipes out the corrupt sheriff and his cronies, and walks off into the distance with this little boy who he just happens to pick up along the way. And that's it, and that's how it's supposed to end. However, the character just kept coming back to me, and I was thinking to myself, well, you know, what happens next? You know, could I do any more with this character? So I did. As I was writing it, I was sort of defining the storylines behind the Children of Cain, and the fact that they were awaiting this divergence, they were seeking out the twins, and that, you know, they were looking for the Eternals, and they had these enemies, constructs. So the big bad in the High Moon story originally became a construct, and that stuck. And I thought, well, we need to have a look a bit more. And as a result, Justice's character developed. We ended up with 2 more shorts for him, and of course he ended up in Dark Justice. And I do like the character. Like I do a lot of the Children of Cain, they are very, very human. The scene in the First Hunt Then story, which is the second short, where you have him take the unnamed boy hunting for the rabbit, it has me in tux every time I reread it. That despair of, oh, what do I do with this child? He's got to hunt the rabbit. You know, if you want to eat, you need to hunt the rabbit. And of course the boy just can't do it. And we see that sort of humanity and justice there, which develops over the course of those 3 short stories, and then of course culminates inside the bloody climax of Family, where basically things go to hell in a handbag, and Justice walks off and decides that he doesn't want to be king. You know, he can't handle that. He's too young. He's to a certain extent too human. And that sets the scene for Dark Justice, you know, about 120 years later. Now, when we come to Dark Justice, again, his character really develops again, because we start off with him being the antagonist. We know that he is there in the background killing people who aren't constructs, albeit sort of like evildoers, very much like, you know, Lestat style. I was very heavily influenced by Anne Rice as a child. Loved the Vampire Lestat books. You know, the idea of this noble vampire, which of course Lestat isn't really, even though he thinks he is. So we have Justice living up to his name. You know, he is being Justice. He is going out killing those people who, as far as he's concerned, don't deserve to live. Until, of course, he kills the wrong person. You know, he kills Tony, the bar manager of the Gregson, as was. And we sort of see him and Sam strike up this relationship almost, because he's very like Sam. He is drawn into this world which he didn't ask for. You know, it was thrust upon him when he was dying. It was die or be this. And now he has to deal with it. And to a certain extent, I think Sam sees quite a bit of himself in Justice. And then when he's like finds out Justice's backstory, you know, there's death of the family there in the background, just like there's death of the family with Sam. You know, Sam has just experienced the loss of his father again and his mother. So he can identify with Justice. And the way that Justice goes out, it's inevitable. But again, still heartbreaking, because you've come to love this character. And I think if there's one thing you take away from, you know, almost the tragedy of Justice, it's that nobody in my universe is safe. You know, we read books and we think, oh yeah, we love that character, you know, they're a good character, they're going to be fine, and then sometimes the rug is pulled out from under your feet, and it's not so fine for them in the end. So yeah, Justice, character I love working with. I'll probably use him again. I think he's got some more mileage, not sort of like in this current timeline, but possibly sort of like some older stories, because, you know, he's got lots of uncharted history. You know, we've only had slight references to how he was made. You know, I could even go back and revisit that. So I've got things bouncing around in my head. If I've got time and if I've got the inclination, who knows? Or perhaps somebody else might even write it. I'd love to see what they've got. Anyway, that's all for now. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.